Welcome to Alternate Ending, where we're discovering good movies, one bad movie at a time. I'm your host, Robert Jarasinski. Across from me is my wife, Carie Jarasinski. This episode, we're talking about our top 5 back-to-school movies, which is pretty fitting, Carie, since we just had 2 young children, Abby and Alice. Our kids start school for the first time. Abby kindergarten and Alice preschool. Very sweet stuff. But I noticed some tears, your eyes welling up as we dropped Abby off at the bus for the first time.
Yeah, there were at least 7 to 8 tears, and it was a mix. It was a mix for me. It was like 60% joy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't even want to call it 40% sadness. Maybe like 30% sadness. Like it's a milestone. I actually remember kindergarten. And then 10% other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just psyched that we're the first stop on the bus stop while we have to get up at the crack of dawn. Roosters literally, kind of
so
going
early.
going
Why
off.
Why is it so early?
I don't know. But the nice thing about being early is you don't have to deal with all that trauma of trying to find the seats. Yeah.
The last seat.
Yeah.
The last seat.
So
on
Abby
the bus.
sits down. She has her pick of all of the seats on the bus. And
she chooses the front. And part of me wants to be like, go to the back. Be cool.
Yeah.
But she thinks that the front is cool still as a kindergarten.
Yeah, falls in the air. Pumpkin lattes are out. So we thought back to school would be the right episode. But I'm actually having trouble concentrating right now because it appears as though you have like elephantiasis on your arms or something. What's going on with your arm there, your left arm?
Why are you calling out?
Well, people can't see. We're an audible show, so people can't see that. Wow, it looks terrible. You're showing me now. Maybe we need to take like a picture to post to Facebook so they can kind of see.
I find this hurtful that you're bringing this up right now and embarrassing. It's a bit swollen. It is. I just took another antihistamine that you recommended.
What was it that occurred that
I was
required?
Attacked by a bee.
Attacked by a bee.
It sought me out. I did nothing. There was no arm swaying. I didn't bat a bee. I didn't even see the bee coming, and it planted itself right on my bloodstream.
We were actually at a pumpkin farm.
Which
getting
you made
all of
me. I blame you for this.
This is somehow my fault.
Ultimately, I thought about it. I'm like, how did this happen? Like, I probably wouldn't have gone to a pumpkin farm had you not, made me go.
It had nothing to do with the 100 gallons of pumpkin sweetener that you pump in there that the bees were attracted to?
I don't think that's what it was.
That probably has very little to do with it.
Yeah.
I just don't know how you were able to...
I'm in so much pain right now.
I just don't know how you're able to run today for our training with your arm like that. Was it not weighing you down?
This isn't a good lead-in. This is a terrible lead-in because I wanted this to be an amicable podcast. But
I cleaned the house.
If you're going to go there, you cleaned it 2 days ago.
That's true.
So there's been a lag time.
No recency. There's a recency issue.
That is a bit of a problem here. So this run today, I know Rob's mentioned in the past that we're going for these. Rob's doing a marathon in November, and ultimately I would never run by choice, but Rob always surprise signs me up or elects me for these races. So I'm doing the half. So I'm out today running with my elephantiasis arm, like you mentioned. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I was thinking about it as I run, and you're always like, yeah, I'm always free of mind while I'm doing it, thinking about to-dos, thinking about travel. And you know what I'm thinking about? Rage. I'm thinking about rage that I feel for you as I run. It builds as I go along, and it just gets worse. So today around mile 3, I had seen my 17th squished frog. My 100th, what are those really fuzzy caterpillars?
They're just caterpillars, I think.
No, but the really fuzzy, puffy,
they have
cute
a special
ones.
Name? They turn into monarchs, right?
Teddy bear. I don't know. That makes me sadder. Thank you for telling me that.
Were you stepping on them along the way?
No, they were already. It was like a cemetery for all of these animals along this path that you recommended, which added to the rage as I'm going along. I'm like, Rob sent me to this pet cemetery out here. Then on top of that, yeah, thanks. Then on top of that, it's the sounds of nature sound I have a snake fear, as you know. So the sounds of nature sound like thousands of snakes are coming out to attack me at any moment. So then around mile 6, I had to do 8 today per Rob's running plan. It's just so infuriating. Then around mile 6 today, I don't want to say this, it might be slightly offensive, but it's I started to have these really dark thoughts around maybe there would be like an upside of being abducted right now. Like maybe there would be an upside of like a wolf attack.
Well,
Like,
you know what's interesting about that is if that did occur, I wouldn't be able to find you because you've disabled Find My iPhone on your phone, so I can't track you. And so if that circumstance ever did occur, you're kind of out of luck.
I was
I'm
going to
sorry.
call if I was abducted, but I kind of wanted you to be worried for a while because then maybe you wouldn't sign me up for these races. There is just a building frustration around doing this. On top of which, the elephantitis. Again, I passed a man. I lied to you when you said, did you see anybody? I did see a man, but he wouldn't talk to me.
He walked away from you?
He saw my arm.
The good news is we're still have plenty of time for Halloween, so if you paint yourself red, you could look like Hellboy with his one arm that is oversized compared to the other arm.
You know what? I feel like there's a savings there. There's some sort of savings to be had. So again, thank you.
My pleasure.
Thanks again for signing me up.
It's my husbandry duty.
I'm glad we're starting on this note, but I did want to let you know that I have a general rage
Very
that
nice.
Is building for
Well,
you
much
over
like
time.
the rage likely between Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. I did want to discuss this. This is
my
obviously
gosh.
entertainment news. It's
Don't
pretty big
even
news.
bring it up.
I grew up in the
think it's a ruse.
90s with the Gwyneth
not
Paltrow, Jennifer Aniston, then later on after that, and now Angelina Jolie. Power couple, Brad Pitt and Angelina. For those who haven't heard, are divorcing under kind of unsavory circumstances, it seems, but I won't get into the details because we don't know what the truth of the matter is. But yeah, some interesting things kind of going on there. Did you have a favorite Brad Pitt ex? Who's your favorite Brad Pitt ex?
That's not even a question.
I don't know the answer.
Doesn't he only have two?
No, I mean, I'm not just in marriage, but just exes.
Did he date Whoopi Goldberg ever?
No.
No.
That
Because that would have been my favorite.
that would have been it.
So after that, I
That
would
privilege was Ted Danson.
Ted Danson, right.
is one of the few
I could
who
see the
conquered,
two. Yeah,
conquered
okay.
the Whoopi Goldberg.
Then I would have to go, obviously, with Rachel.
You mean Jennifer Aniston?
Yeah.
Call her still by her character name and Friends.
By her real name.
So over Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh, yeah.
What if I told
I'm
you
not
that
a
he
Gwyneth
dated
fan.
Christina Applegate?
I would still pick, obviously, Rachel.
Jennifer
yeah.
Aniston. Probably my favorite as well, too. I've heard some
Yeah.
weird things about Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, she's
even though they
like
were
a
kind
weirdo,
of
I think. And she named her kid a fruit, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Indeed did.
apple.
But there was also a couple other people that he's crossed paths with
Still
in the
Rachel.
past. Still Rachel. Okay,
Yeah.
well, good.
What
hands
about,
down.
and you're in agreement on that?
If what are we base? Is it based off of like
Total
a
package.
Total package. Yeah, definitely Jennifer Aniston.
She still has it going on. I
Still-
saw her on like
still's got
a magazine cover, and it was like a semi-nude, and it was
pregnant. She looked great. Or wait, she wasn't
had a
never
baby?
pregnant. Who was
Oh, wait.
pregnant on the cover of something? I was like, oh my gosh, this was years ago. Okay,
Celine Dion.
No, not Celine Dion.
Oh.
But although who would know? Maybe it was Demi Moore, and I was like, maybe Demi Moore.
Yeah, I could see that.
I've
We'll look into
messed
this.
up.
We'll
Yeah.
research it. Yeah.
Well, let's get to our top 3 worth mentioning. What is the top 3 worth mentioning of the movies we've seen since the last episode? Which are the ones we want to talk about? They could be great movies. They could be terrible movies. We share them worst to first. We might even decide not to share one since we plan to wreck it to the other person, which we haven't done in such a long time. And I actually have no intention to do it this time.
No.
But at some point, we should probably see enough movies where we then say like, aha, I'm going to hold this one back
Right.
and share it
if
with
somebody's going to do that, it's going to be you.
you. It's going to be me because
Yeah.
I have more time to watch movies.
That's right.
I saw 7 movies since the last episode, which is weak.
I saw 8.
Wow.
What?
Is this a first? Which makes
Is this possible?
It's possible, and
Right.
then it
I'm
also
gonna count.
explains the fact that I'm on pace. As you know, I committed to watching 200 movies
How
this
many
year.
have you watched?
I'm on pace, unfortunately, for 205.
Wait, you committed to 200. So you're over pace.
But just
saying
my buffer. I
unfortunately?
had this beautiful buffer.
Oh, you did.
And it's been whittled down to 5. Like
Okay.
I can't keep up the 7 movies every 3 weeks. It needs to get back to the whole.
You need to recommit
I
yourself.
recommit 4 movies a week.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm gonna slip. I know Oscar
Yeah.
season's coming.
You know, I feel like what you have to do is probably like stop putting your kids to bed and like stop.
I know. I just have
helping
this
out
overbearing
more.
wife who just
Yeah.
has all these requirements
So
of
many
me to
commitments
be a
that you
parent,
have,
like to have
like-
parenting.
Really, from like 6 on, you need to dedicate yourself to the podcast.
I think is this a true offer? Where
and
do I
then-
sign?
And then get out. Get out of the
Get out.
house.
Go join Brad Pitt.
Watch these movies.
Go hang out with Brad
elsewhere.
Pitt somewhere with no
Yeah,
kids.
I bet that's what
kind
he
of
did.
kind of sad. Kind
Yeah,
of
it's not sad. Let's
Oh,
not-
you think he started a podcast?
He's probably
Maybe that's
starting
what
a
it was.
podcast. He has time on his hands.
So
now.
what's number 3 on your top 3 worth mentioning?
I struggled a little bit this week.
And are we gonna have any overlap? Sorry.
Maybe not.
I think we'll have overlap in movies. I anticipate one overlap in ranking.
You mean in the back to school movies?
No. We're in top 3 with mention.
All right.
I'm saying that I think we will.
I think 0.
We will overlap. There will be movies,
Okay.
at least 2 that match up, but I think only one. I think we'll actually have one that'll match up on ranking.
Oh, I think we'll have 0 that overlap.
Oh wow! All right, go for it.
All right, we'll see.
We'll see.
Unless you used the 2015 movie Knock Knock.
Number 3 on my list.
That was my third.
Yes, because I just needed to talk about how awful it was.
So shitty. I mean, sorry. I'm glad
Sorry, Grandma.
Sorry, Grandma. I'm glad that you have the explicit rating on this podcast. That movie, still gives me heart palpitations from watching that movie. So, directed and written by Eli Roth, also did Hostel and Cabin Fever. Stars Keanu Reeves, should have been an indicator that it was going to be a piece. But on top of that...
That's interesting that you said. Let's stick on Keanu for just a moment.
Okay.
Movie is, again, Knock Knock, available for streaming on Amazon. He's
the
terrible.
pits. Yeah, he's just the worst. I'm so glad we agree.
As we watch this movie, and he was the worst of these no-name actors.
And I'm pretty sure he's had plastic surgery.
Yeah, he's not looking too great.
He's not looking great.
But what movie? And then I go back, it's like, where was he? Was there ever a movie he was good?
Was he good in The Matrix?
But he didn't need to be good.
He
was supposed to be this chosen one, kind of like cerebral,
right.
Hey, dude,
Neo.
Yeah, Neo.
Right.
He could get away with. Neo didn't really say much or convey anything.
Yeah. I feel like that's the best case scenario.
Someone needs to write in, give me a movie where Keanu Reeves was
great.
great.
What is the movie where the
Bill
lake house?
That wasn't a good movie.
Was that a movie? No, I'm just throwing. I didn't say it was.
It
but
was a movie.
I probably liked it a little bit.
Yeah.
But he was better in that maybe than this movie. So
I would say Parenthood was.
I didn't see that.
And he was doing. Do you know that monster thing? Where he was like, "Oh, look at me,
well,
kids! I'm a clearly this." I need to check to see if he's a parent.
He's the worst
monster. He is not a real. Well, no, monster, yes, but the most uninspired, untrue parenting.
Right.
You are obviously not a parent, sir.
I knew you were judging for that. I knew we couldn't talk about it, but I knew you were judging his child chasing monster because I knew you were like, I could do totally a better monster.
Well,
than
it's
that.
true, I could. Let's get to the. Sorry, I interrupted you from the plot of Knock Knock.
Sorry.
Avoid this movie.
Avoid it. But a devoted husband and father, played by Keanu Reeves, is left at home for a weekend to work on whatever it is he's doing. He's a architect or something like that. And 2 very young, not really that attractive young women by my standards show up at his door, and what starts out as a kind gesture results in sort of a seductive situation where they seduce him even though he's not interested.
Which is just the most far-fetched. I mean, the reasoning that you come to find, which I don't know if you ever find, it's just they're stupid.
It was stupid.
There are boobies. There were some boobies.
Yeah, but they were Polish boobies.
Polish boobies?
I think they were Polish boobies.
No, she's from Spain.
I thought you meant the blonde.
Yeah, the blonde is Spanish. She's from Spain.
Oh, yeah. So they were Spanish
What
boobies.
are Polish boobies?
I don't know.
How many have you seen some Polish boobies? Have you been
Polish.
scarred by by my nipples?
Yeah.
Have my
Let's
boobies
keep
scared
it clean,
you?
Rob. Keep it clean. My mom might listen this episode. So, anyway, not a great movie. The plot was all over the place. It wasn't likable. I found myself, and I questioned this to Rob before, and I know we're not supposed to talk about it before, but the only thing I said to him before it was the acting felt so bad, but at the same time, I was so mad while I was watching the movie that I thought ultimately, I questioned, is this really good acting? Because I'm so mad at this movie.
So what was funny is we were like, let's Carrie, what do you want to watch tonight? Oh, maybe Best of Me. I want something heartwarming. And then I show Knock Knock as an option, and anything adultery related for some reason really piques Carrie's curiosity. You're just curious. You're very curious about.
No, but it's more so I like thrillers. So I think of it as being I like how do people like the deception thriller thing.
This was just so terrible.
It was just terrible.
It's funny visually, he's a good director. Nothing I just can't think of anything good about it. The plot was the plot kind of was good for a second, and then as it became reality, it was this doesn't make any sense.
It was just the pit. So avoid this movie.
Yeah, just avoid.
So
we both had.
So
now
do I go to my number 2?
To number 2.
Okay. This one won't also be on your list.
Okay.
I'm already wrong.
Much like the first one.
So for number 2, I have Now You See Me Too.
Don't have it on my list.
I didn't think you would.
Yeah.
2016, directed by John Chu, written by Ed Solomon. It's the sequel to Now You See Me. as you might have deduced.
The two really led me down that path.
Yeah, so starring Jesse Eisenberg, Mark Ruffalo, who everyone knows I love, Woody Harrelson, also love, Dave Franco, and Daniel Radcliffe, and Lizzie Kaplan. It's the sequel to the Four Horsemen magician sort of show from the movie from the first one.
Yeah, I liked the first one. Did you like the first one?
I really liked the first one.
We saw it in theaters in Poland, actually. Polish boobies.
That's right.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Sorry.
You can always call back to
It's going to be a callback.
I really like magic in general, so this felt very Ocean's 11 meets The Prestige to me, in the sense of like magic, but it's also like heisty. So they go out to take on their craziest stunt, and they go out to expose a threat, and it's sort of like the same old adage, like same old plot line that you see in movies like this. But at the same time, like, I love the visual effects of magic. It doesn't get awesome reviews. It's only 6.6, which I wonder if that's partially because it just came out.
I think what happened with this one is they were surprised to make so much money with the first one. They're like, oh my gosh, we have to come up with a sequel. And I don't think it needed well, there is some like leftover what happens next kind of from the first movie, but the acting was fine.
Yeah, the acting's always good with this cast.
I don't know,
I think.
I
liked
something
it. You didn't like it?
No, the acting was good.
Yeah.
I thought it was just okay.
I thought it was a good sequel.
It was more of the same, and I don't know if it was necessary.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't know if it was necessary.
I think they're just trying to...
they tied off some loose ends, I guess.
Yeah.
The thing that really stood out to me the most was I loved, and I don't know if you picked up on this, I mean, Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter fame, playing like a fanatic. He likes magic and playing the off type. And his
did really
performance
well.
was really good. It's kind of like the head bad guy kind of a thing.
Did we see this on Netflix mail-in?
This was a mail-in on Netflix, so not available for streaming.
Would you
send away for this?
I would.
Yeah.
I really like magic, and it's a good diversion. It's one of those really light movies. There's nothing that's going to leave you feeling like it was super complex and you're staying awake at night thinking about it. So I don't know. It didn't do particularly well either. I think the budget was $90 million for it.
Oh, there's no way it made that back.
Yeah, it grossed 65.
Okay.
So it didn't do particularly well, but also not really well advertised either. So
do you feel like a better name for the movie would have been Now You Don't?
No, I don't feel that way at all.
That would have been a much more clever.
Now You Don't?
Yeah, Now You See Me, Now You Don't.
Oh, I see what you did there.
That would have been so much more clever.
Yeah.
This is why I need to go to Hollywood.
Yeah, I feel like you've missed your
calling.
calling.
Now You See Me Part 2. Come on, writers.
See Me, Now You Don't.
That would have been. That's amazing.
Yeah, you're. You better mail that one in.
I'll write that in.
Yeah. What's
just
your
came up
number
with
two?
that. That's how quippy I am.
I know you are.
I went a different route. I like Now You See Me wasn't. It just didn't move me enough to want to talk about it. The number 2 for me is Black Mass, 2015, which we both saw. 2 hours, 3 minutes. IMDb gives it a 7.0. Rotten Tomatoes, 75%. Directed by Scott Cooper, which, knowing that now, I didn't actually research it ahead of time. He did Crazy Heart, which I don't know if you remember, Jeff Bridges. And
with the horses?
Out of the Furnace. No, Crazy Heart was guitar player, kind of drunk, alcoholic, kind of touring. It was kind of his last.
Oh, okay.
You might have not made it through. But Out of the Furnace with Christian Bale.
Definitely made it through that.
Yeah, that was a great movie. Zoe Saldana. You don't remember it?
Was that where
Backyard Street Brawling? His brother Casey Affleck.
Which did she have the baby?
There was a baby situation.
Yeah, I remember
on the
that.
bridge. The scene on the bridge.
On the bridge.
Yeah, good stuff. So this director, this did not have the same feel. This is again, Black Mass 2015. Had to send away for it on Netflix. Sorry, guys. Starring Johnny Depp, Joel Edgerton, Benedict Cumberbatch, Dakota Johnson, Peter Skarsgård, Kevin Bacon. Whole cast of characters. True story of Whitey Bulger. That's what this movie's about.
Yeah.
This Boston mafia, I don't want to say mafia, but he's a Boston gangster because he's an Irish gangster. He's the brother of a state senator, most infamous. He was number 1 on the FBI's most wanted list. Mm-hmm. And the way this tells this story, which if you told me that this was a true story, I wouldn't have believed it because, come on, FBI, what are you doing?
Right.
So basically, Boston I think takes place during the 90s, is starting to get infiltrated by the Italian mafia. So what the FBI does is they send out a friend of this Irish gangster and says, hey, you kind of inform and tell us some good stuff about the Italian, and we'll just give you a free pass. Mm-hmm. And then with this free pass, he's able to establish this empire, and he was the guy in Boston. And until, things that happen.
Transformative.
Yeah.
On a side note.
So Johnny Depp did do a sweet
Yowzers.
job.
He was super ugly.
Yeah.
They made him really ugly.
Yeah, and he was acting.
He was really doing it.
He was doing a great Boston accent, and apparently people who saw the movie who were affiliated with Whitey said, that's Whitey. Like, that's him. And, I mean, I wouldn't have been able to tell. The storyline for me, there were some elements where they threw it in, and I didn't we talked about it offline, but yeah, it didn't mesh well together. Like it was too jumbled. I wish 2 hours, 3 minutes, it probably could have been shorter. Yeah. And it might have moved along. The pacing was slow, but that's the director's style. So number 2 for me, it's like middle of the road movie. If you like the gangster movies, sure, go check it out. It's part of American.
Yeah, if you like mobster stuff, it's worth seeing.
History and folklore, or not folklore, but like true story of this gangster living in the 90s. Kind of has his hands in everything. Decent movie.
Okay.
All right, number 1, drum roll. I feel like we're gonna line up, and you're wrong if we don't. So there you go.
Am I?
Yes,
Am I
you're
Rob?
wrong. Yes, you are.
So I did a thing this week.
Oh.
I did a thing. So when you say I don't ever really listen when you're talking?
What's that?
That's a good one. It's a bit overused, but anywho.
For the new listeners who haven't heard that joke already.
Hopefully. So I listened to one of your recommendations from a previous podcast.
You listened to one of my recommendations?
I did.
Wow.
This is a first.
So are you a Team Rob fan? Is that what you're coming out the closet with?
I wouldn't say that, but I would say I was compelled by your assessment of a movie enough to watch a free movie.
Wow, I'm feeling very
alone.
flattered.
I don't actually know where you were. Where were you? But anyway, I watched Room.
Oh, yes.
I did it. It was an excellent movie.
Excellent.
And it's my top worth mentioning.
Wow.
Rob's talked about it before, but in case you missed it, 2015, directed by Lenny Abramson and written by Emma Donoghue. This is the story of a mother who is abducted when she's like 17. She ends up...
oh, gosh.
What?
Should we be talking about this?
I don't know. Wait, you just...
Oh, because it just occurred to me that there might be people who have not seen this movie. And I feel like
I think a lot
we're
of
out
people
there.
have.
We're out of the
you
door.
know that's first 15 minutes.
No, you don't know first 15 minutes.
She's in a small room.
You don't know what's going on. I feel like that was the beauty for me is I kind of had an idea.
So here was the thing.
Yeah.
When I was watching the movie, I remember you being like, I didn't realize she was abducted. And I was like, that wasn't really a great, you got to pick that apart a bit there. I feel like
you read
I
a book
knew right
or
away.
something, right?
No, I didn't. I knew right away that she was abducted.
Yeah, I didn't get that sense right away.
Yeah, and so I said that to my mom. I'm like, was that supposed to be something? Was I just really that on top of it that I knew she was abducted early on? And my mom was like, oh, I think that was pretty clear. So I think that was just you.
But can you imagine going into the movie not having any idea? And then having it unfold.
I guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
Hard
Anyway,
to imagine.
it is streaming on Amazon. I just want to say that again because people...
It's worth seeing. If you haven't seen it, it's worth seeing. So I'll get through the very high-level first 15-minute summary. A mother and her 5-year-old son, you find out very early on, are in a very small room with that's locked. And... they're unable to get out. You find that out in the first 15 minutes. But it's how this mother sort of manages the life of her 5-year-old child in small quarters and the pressures that she kind of faces while she's there as well. It stars Brie Larson, Jacob Tremblay, who is he's 9 years old now, so then I guess he would be 8, and then Sean Bridgers. It's a really good movie, and it's really worth seeing. And I really enjoyed it. It was worth seeing. I know. It was so it was what I expected, but there was more to it than I expected. And so
it's touching,
and
it's heartbreaking, it's heartwarming.
Yeah, you didn't share everything the last time, which is good. But
that's the thing is, I almost wish we had a separate offline podcast or after the show.
Where you and I just talk?
Where you just talk about it, because I'd love to pick your brain on more of it. But
I
don't want
to talk to you outside of this 1 hour segment.
Because we don't talk about movies. For example, I didn't know that that's a movie you saw, and I'd love to kind of know more about.
I knew you'd there would be some enthusiasm around me.
Very good number 1. I appreciate you taking my advice. Sure. I should do that for you sometime.
You should.
Yeah, not soon. Sometime, someday. My number 1, and I will say this is a very strong number one. So, yours being Room, I think you knew that was going to happen, so you probably gave me a bit. But my number one, Hell or High Water, people. Hell or High Water in theaters right now. Go and see this movie. 2016, hour 42 minutes. IMDb gives it an 8.2. Rotten Tomatoes 98%. Not a lot of buzz about this movie as far as marketing. They don't have a lot of money to market this movie. But written by Taylor Sheridan, who wrote Sicario, which was one of my favorites from last year, starring Ben Foster, Chris Pine, and Jeff Bridges. A divorced dad and his ex-con brother resort to a desperate scheme in order to save their family's ranch in West Texas. Holy moly, this was amazing. And
I did game you.
I know, I figured you would have. And what made this movie viewing experience, I still would have loved this movie as much as I do, but what made the viewing experience even more is in Madison, Wisconsin, here where we're coming to you live from. The film critic for the Capital Times, which is the local paper here, actually hosts a movie once a month, and this is the movie he was hosting. Carrie and I figured we'd go do it, and afterwards they did like a little Q&A with the movie critic, made it all the more special. But the movie was just, it's my type of movie. This is like where I think our Venn diagram of movie love overlaps. It was definitely my type of movie, and you liked it quite a bit.
I liked it way more. So Sicario, I fell asleep in.
Right.
Did you like it more than Sicario?
It's just different.
Different. Okay.
I can't. I don't want to. I have to think about that.
Okay. But this was less. So as you know, not a big gore.
I liked it better than No Country for Old
unless
Men.
It's zombies.
I think.
Yeah, I think
it's more accessible.
This felt more like about the story. It focused less on the violence. Excuse me. More on the story of like.
I think if you find a movie with a tone that I like, that has relationship aspects to it, like this one did, and it focuses. So Ben Foster and Chris Pine play the brothers, and Jeff Bridges, and I don't have his counterpart's name, also play kind of like sheriffs or colleagues. And there's so much focus on building those relationships that that's what you fall in love with.
Right.
But then on the backdrop of this great plot, plus the great direction and painting West Texas, this poor town, poor part of which probably a microcosm of what's going on in lots of cities is just the poverty related to the downturn, post-economic downturn, and that a lot of these towns are still suffering.
Right.
And it brings it all together, and it does it so well. And I think that's where we have the overlap, is when you have all those kind of qualities working for it.
Right.
Yeah. So. Great
I
movie.
think so for me, excellent movie. Really glad that I saw it in theaters. Afterwards, like Rob was mentioning, there was the movie reviewer that was there, and poor guy. So he gets up there, and you figure if you're at a movie on like a Tuesday, I mean, you have some people that are a little bit hardcore. I mean, no one's getting a babysitter on a Tuesday unless you're hardcore. So.
I guess that makes us hardcore. Are we hardcore?
I mean, we're not that hardcore, but we have my mom who was willing to stay around because she's great. But there were a couple folks that were in there. And then, I mean, we live in Madison, like Rob mentioned. So it's like we live in hippie capital of America. So the poor guy like poses some question around their intent or something, and everybody's like, oh, it's because they live in this poor town, and everyone has this very sympathetic attitude, and this one poor lone gentleman in the back is like, why didn't they just go out and get a job rather than robbing banks and doing all this bad these bad things? I mean, poor man.
Yeah,
like
wrong
bait.
Audience. Wrong
audience. He was like,
poor
man. I was like, oh, and the minute he said it went silent. And then, of course, you get the one or two, like, the Madison folks that jump in.
Do you feel like there was a little bit of posturing by everybody in the audience to be these pseudo-intellectual types to impress the critic? And I know we were part of that audience. I wasn't trying to throw him like a curveball, be like, hey, did you notice the burn mark? The burn mark in the top right of the film frame was very fascinating. Like, I wasn't trying to like show my knowledge or lack thereof, but there were a lot of those types in the audience, which is why I kind of went away from film school a little bit, because I was turned off by that, because I was like, I don't want to study the movie like,
pick it apart.
But there were some interesting things brought up that made us
themes
even get into a little bit of a tiff at the end of the night. So that's how passionate we were about the movie. We disagreed about the meaning of the ending.
I like how you said we. That's how you were passionate about the movie.
Carrie was wrong about the ending of the movie, and it led to an argument. I mean, that's the facts. Those are the facts. Facts. Undisputed.
Those are the hard lies right there.
Remember, you can find more details about all the movies we've watched at our website, alternatingpod.com. That's alternatingpod.com. Before we head to our break, I want to thank all our listeners who support the show and make their Amazon purchases through our site. Doing it is easy. Just go to our website, alternatingpod.com, click on our Amazon banner, and seamlessly go about your purchases. All proceeds go to making our show better. Since the last episode, here are the things that were purchased. We actually had quite a few things.
I'm really excited.
I should say quite a few sets of things purchased. Okay. Kitchen and housewares. We had Chefcraft 5-quart deep colander white, 11 by 5. 8 of those purchased.
8 colanders?
Yeah, why would you need 8 colanders?
It's a lot of pasta or something.
I'm thinking this is the same person who's also a set of 8.
Do you think it could be like an error purchase? Like
I hope not. I'm not giving the money back. I'm withdrawing it from the account immediately.
I will keep those.
I will keep all those
$3
those pennies. No,
yeah,
seriously
okay.
though, all these things really do mean a lot. Really do help to contribute to the show. We also had Good Cook plastic bowl, 7-quart.
Okay.
Colors may vary, so it could have been a variety.
All right.
Another set of 8 there.
Okay.
And then last, picture frames, 4x6.
4x6.
Antique bronze, which
Didn't
is
want to go with the 5x7.
Yeah, 4x6 is an odd.
It's a smaller.
It's a smaller
picture.
size. 2 sets of those.
Interesting.
So thank you guys. That means a lot. Appreciate it. When we get back, our top 5 back to school movies. So stay tuned.
Laying all the pieces out, wonder even if they fit together. Wonder what will happen now.
And welcome back to Alternating, discussing our top 5 back to school movies. Care, what is your criteria for a back to school movie?
So at first I thought about movies that it was like the first day of school. Because that would be
I was actually leaning that way.
very literal.
Yeah.
And then I realized there weren't enough movies.
Oh, I disagree. I think there's quite a few.
So you did that.
I really tried.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, this one was really hard for me.
This was hard.
I didn't know how to define it. Like, there were no good
I just did
parameters
school
and the
movies.
research.
I did school movies.
I started with so then I went all school, and I was like, do I remember this being first day of school? And if it was first day of school, again, I gave it like a little extra boost.
I didn't do that now.
But the listeners, I'll be honest, I didn't cheat off the listeners, but I was like, what do the listeners have? Because I'm kind of, I don't know what to.
They have really
They
good.
had some good suggestions.
Good suggestions.
So
one of them specifically I took from a listener post, and I would have forgotten about it.
Yeah.
But when I saw it, I was like, oh.
One didn't make the list,
so good.
but I was so proud to see it on the list because
Right.
I had forgotten about it, and I was like, oh, but
I wonder
it's
if
not
it's
good
on my
enough.
list. Is it on mine?
No, it wouldn't be. I think this is a movie.
I don't think you
potentially
know
might
that I
rec
would
to
have
someday.
loved this movie.
Oh my goodness! All right,
You know
I'm
I
excited.
love Queen Latifah.
What could this be?
Joking.
What is Queen Latifah?
I don't know.
All right, did you just make that up?
I did.
Now I'm concerned.
I know.
How about overlap?
So here's the other thing I did. In my effort to garner more positive feedback, like from last week, I think I have a list totally separate from yours because I think I've picked movies that you have forgotten about.
Let me tell you what I have
That are
here.
so good.
Let me tell you about my 5. I have 2 terrible movies that
Okay.
people would say that. Right. I mean, I can't argue that they're
Right.
that they're terrible.
So, okay.
They're probably terrible, but
Okay.
I like them.
Okay.
And I have 1 pretty good movie.
Pretty good movie.
And then 2 just classic, awesome movies.
So I have 5 awesome movies.
Really?
All of them are awesome.
Did we decide if you were Team Carrie was victorious last week?
It was me,
I
yeah.
think it was you.
It was, yeah.
All right, get into it. Number 5, what do you
So
have?
I'm going to do this movie you forgot about.
Oh, crap.
Okay, here
you
we
seem
go.
So
Do I feel
content with
confident?
yourself,
Yeah, because I am. Number 5, I went. Is that a kid upstairs?
I hope not. Heard something.
I heard a bang.
They'll come down. They'll come join the podcast.
You
if
think they
something-
will?
Yeah.
All right.
They won't know where to find us.
So I will back up to say I had a million movies I could have put on this. So this is a really great category. I'm going to back it up to say that. All right. So here's where I zoned into. Number 5. If I tell you the cast, let's see if you can guess what it is.
Okay.
Because I'm so excited about it. Starring Michelle Pfeiffer. As well as-
Dangerous Minds.
So good. Is it on your list?
No.
Love this movie.
Really?
Dangerous Minds?
Really?
Dangerous Minds.
She's wearing a leather jacket. She's tough. She's a tough teacher.
She knows karate.
Marines, former Marines.
Oh my gosh, you just stole the whole plot of this movie.
The valley of
the shadow of death. I take a look at my life and I realize there's nothing left.
We shouldn't rap.
Okay, I won't do that, but I do know that song really well.
Yeah.
So
that's a good song.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't actually get enough kudos that I know that song really well.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I know. Thanks. So directed by John Smith, written by Luana Johnson, stars Michelle Pfeiffer, George Dujanda, Courtney Valance. The plot is Michelle Pfeiffer is an ex-Marine, like Rob mentioned. She's hired as a high school teacher in sort of a poor area of the city, and she comes in. She's recently separated from her husband, so she's going through things herself on the personal side, and then her friend sort of gets her this job as a temporary job, but yet she comes in, and while she gets this terrible reception from these students because I think they expect that they're going to get a teacher that they can walk all over, they end up getting Michelle Pfeiffer, who's kind of tough, and she tries these unconventional methods to try and teach them and gain trust with the students. I loved this movie. It was like a powerful movie for me. I thought it was a good acting performance by her. I haven't also seen it in like at least 15 years, so it's one that I might not want to revisit. But at the time, I remember just loving this movie, and that's why it makes my number 5.
Yeah. I'm kind of middle of the road on this one. Nothing
Really?
stands out to me about it. I've seen movies before and I've seen movies since about the same exact plot point. Kind of fish
But
out of
have you
water
seen
teacher.
a movie before that?
Yes,
about
The Principal with James Belushi.
I haven't seen that,
Yeah.
so I'll have to check it out.
Also, he's a white principal. Kind of fish out of water.
All right.
In a
I'll watch and compare.
yeah. But that
makes
it's
my number 5.
The music, the soundtrack,
The soundtrack, yeah.
Yeah, having it be a female lead kind of in that role.
Yeah.
That was nice. Yeah.
What's your number 5?
I Will See Your Dangerous Minds and raise you as my number 5.
It's on my list.
No, there's no way.
No.
In fact, I just want to see it with you so bad. Like all the movies on my list, after I put them on, I was like, I really want to see these movies.
Okay.
It was
me
a
too,
great
me
category.
too.
It was
Yeah.
a great category. PCU, which was on some of our listeners.
I've never heard of this movie.
I think 2 of our listeners had PCU. 1994's PCU, hour 19 minutes, fast, short. Just go see it. I mean, it's the same as watching an episode of something.
What's it stand for? Is it an acronym?
It's probably for the school, but
okay.
Also about being PC, kind of the problem with a PC
Okay.
culture. This is kind of counterculture to that, which I agree with a little bit. We've kind of grown a little bit too PC. But this is 1994, so this is cutting edge stuff. 6.5 on IMDb. Rotten Tomatoes, a lowly 47%. Directed by Hart Bochner, who's done nothing since or prior.
Can't imagine
Starring
why.
Jeremy Piven, a young Jon Favreau, David
John
Spade.
Favreau. Who is that? Wait, let's see if I can pull it out there.
Yeah, let's see what you got.
Iron Man.
Yes.
Hefty guy.
Hefty guy, but really
Also in Friends.
But the director of Iron Man
as
is
Monica's boyfriend.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
Director of Jungle Book.
Thanks.
Moved on to a great directing career, but kind of known for the whole Vince Vaughn, Jon Favreau kind of relationship.
I like him.
But Jeremy Piven doing awesome stuff. David Spade is kind of the conservative D-bag. I can say D-bag, I think. Chris Young playing the high school senior visitor to college for the weekend. Did you ever do this? Did you ever go to Augustana for the weekend to kind of visit the campus and get
Without
brought in?
parents?
Yeah, without
No,
parents.
no.
So I did this at Northwestern. Maybe this is
did?
why it rings true for me. But I saw this way before. But high
Get
school
in
senior.
trouble?
My cousin was in charge of me.
That was
Michelle,
the vodka
Michelle Navarez.
incident?
Oh yeah, this was the vodka incident.
Oh, the last time Rob threw up.
Yeah.
20
Did I
years
throw up?
ago.
No, there was no throw up.
Oh, you didn't?
No, but she was very. She
Thought you
stayed
were
up with me.
close.
13 shots.
Was there no
of-
pants?
of
There was
lime.
something that was weird.
I took my shirt off and did lots of push-ups.
That's weird.
Yeah.
But that was 20 years ago, Rob.
Oh my God. So, high school senior visits college for the weekend and stays at the wildest house on campus in this classic tale of anti-political correctness. All three, that's something else from something else. So, really, this is all about young Jeremy Piven doing the Jeremy Piven thing. He's kind of mastered cheating, and he brings this young, kind of naive high school senior along for the ride and kind of shows him what the movies I focus on were take me around the school, teach me about the ins and the outs, the cool crowd, and it does the whole different types of crowds. Here you have your geeks, here you have your skaters, you have your stoners, and you have these guys. Hilarious. A lot of funny moments in this movie.
Why
I really
is it so
enjoyed
poorly
it.
rated if it's you liked it so much?
There's not a whole lot to it. It's kind of like, it's a stoner movie. It's probably hilarious to a lot of folks, but not probably to critics. Interesting thing about this movie, Jeremy Piven contracted malaria during filming.
It's unfortunate.
And he just kind of pushed through.
Nice.
He kind of just pushed through
Is
it.
that something you can push through, like an antibiotic kind of thing?
I don't think you could push through malaria.
No?
I'm not really. I think you have quite a bit of a fever going on with malaria.
I'm going to look it up.
Also, there's this epic kind of finale house party where they get a band to play. They were targeting Nirvana, who was Kurt Cobain was still around, and Goo Goo Dolls. They passed on both of those and went for. I'll let track this down. I mean, this is a classic. I think it still holds true.
Where could you see it?
It's not available that I
VHS?
could tell. I think you'd have to send away for it on Netflix or buy the Blu-ray. But that's my number 5. PCU.
All right.
Number 4 for you.
My number 4. Another awesome movie that I just get.
I feel good. I feel like I'm gonna have it on my list. What is it?
Does it star Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Are you going Kindergarten Cop? I saw a listener had this.
I love this movie.
And you feel this is back to school. This focus, I guess it focuses.
The title is Kindergarten Cop.
That's true.
It feels pretty
I
applicable.
feel like the first half of Kindergarten Cop has nothing to do with the school.
Let me tell you about this movie, Rob. 1990, directed by Ivan Reitman, written by Murray Salem. It stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, Penelope Ann Miller, who I really like. Yeah,
she's good stuff.
She's maybe a blonde that you could be into.
No, redhead.
She's blonde.
Naturally redhead.
Oh, whatever. Pamela Reed, who's the redhead.
No, that's the partner.
Yeah.
Also redhead.
Oh, okay. All right. So Arnold is given a assignment to go after
Food poisoning. Gets food poisoning.
I know. So you're laughing even talking about the movie.
I mean, I like
so
Arnold Schwarzenegger
good.
movies.
So you threw me off. So he goes out and he gets assigned his most difficult assignment ever as a kindergarten substitute teacher in order to track down this drug dealer that's run rampant. And so the whole story is awesome. Like, I love the whole idea of like Arnold as a kindergarten teacher. Hilarious scenes. This is where I'm really glad that you rated this podcast as a explicit and E, because the best part of that part is where they were the penis vagina thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
When they're
Also,
like, girls have vaginas, boys have penises. It's like it's the best
I wish
part
we had
of
quotes.
that movie.
We need, that's our next phase is getting
It's
the
quotes.
actual
That's the advanced podcast.
advanced podcast.
So
You have a tumor.
this
You
is
don't have a tumor.
It's not. No,
It's not a
It's
tumor.
not a tumor.
Yeah.
Is what the quote
stuff.
is. I can help you out there with most Arnold quotes, but a hilarious movie. Another one where, again, 1990. I was really young when I saw it. Where I don't know that I want to go back and see it, but at the time, hilarious movie, cute movie, complete and fun movie, and that is why it makes my number 4.
Yeah, they had some misdirection going on, like who's the kid that he's
Right.
It had some element. I mean, I love.
Well,
Kindergarten
wasn't he
Cop.
protecting? Yeah. So
No, he's not protecting anybody. He's trying to figure out.
one of the kids, so he likes the mom of one of the kids, and the dad, or it has something to do with like he's connected to the drug dealer that he's going after, right?
Yeah, they're all trying to. They have a lead on this kind of bad guy, and
Right.
they know that the bad guys. All they know about the bad guy is that the ex-wife, who no one knows what she looks like, or the son,
Right.
go live in this town and go to the school.
Yes.
So they infiltrate it by that,
it was
and he's
so
trying to figure
good.
out who the kid is, and he has ideas and thoughts, and
Right.
it kind of shifts around.
You're
so
right.
it's cat and mouse a little bit.
You have a good memory. It was
It's a
good.
great movie. It's one of my favorite movies. Yeah, but
Oh.
I just back to school. I don't know. It doesn't feel
Yeah,
like a
because
back
the
to
whole
school movie.
kindergarten thing. Yeah.
Number 4, very similar to my number 5. It's just kind of a guilty
Another piece.
pleasure. Yeah, say it. Yeah, but you know what? I laugh out loud every time I see this movie.
Maybe I've seen it. What is
you
it?
have not seen this. Number 4 for me is 2002's Slackers. Have you seen this?
I think I have.
You're joking. You've seen this movie.
I could be lying. Does it
our-
have the guy from Jay and Silent Bob?
No. It hour 26, IMDb gives it a 5.3, Rotten Tomatoes 10%. Not well
That's
received.
really low.
That's really low. I
That's
don't get
really
it.
low.
Directed by Dewey Hicks, much like the aforementioned PCU. Slackers, Dewey Hicks director. Not a whole lot going on. Starring Devon Sawa, who everybody's
Who I love.
every girl's crush.
Also from Ghost. Or no,
Casper.
Casper, thank you.
Jason Segel from How I Met Your Mother fame and plenty of other things now. Laura Prepon. Do you know Laura Prepon?
No.
No. Jason Schwartzman, who
That I do know
this
that
is
name.
he's the reason why this movie for me is everything. And then the Jamie King. When geeky Ethan discovers 3 fellow students scamming the examination system, he blackmails them to win over the college's most popular girl. And Ethan being Jason Schwartzman character. It's less about this being a cohesive movie versus having hilarious scenes in it. That I'm sure like someone as they were writing this was like, this is hilarious. Let's work this into the plot. And that is what happened, even though they're outrageous and they don't make any sense. Woven together, it kind of goes along and you can kind of follow along. But there are so many funny laugh out loud moments here, which, and again, it goes around the campus. There's some cheating that goes on, which I'm always a fan of in school, and kind of dealing with that, relationships.
Right.
So yeah, this kind of makes me feel like my school experience. So yeah, number 4 for me.
All right.
Number 3 for you.
Number 3 is going to be another crowd pleaser as well as awesome movie.
Oh, we're gonna line up.
You think?
Because I mean, you've just described my number 3.
Word?
It's a number.
That's not mine.
Okay, go ahead.
No. Mine is the movie 2003 movie School of Rock. You forgot about it, didn't you?
I didn't forget about it.
You forgot about it.
Yeah, that's...
Just as I talk through it, you can think about your regret. Okay. So, the directed by Richard Linklater. I was like, what? So that's the guy that did the Boyhood, right?
That can't be right.
Richard Linklater. It is. But that's who did Boyhood, right?
Yeah. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Written by Mike White. It stars Jack Black, who I always actually find hilarious. And I'm really choosy about my chunky comedic male actors. And Jack Black for me is generally...
Richard Linklater. I don't get it.
It's a thing. Jack Black is in that category for me where it's like you have to be top notch for me in that category, and he's good. So it stars him, Mike White, Joan Cusack, who I also actually find really funny. And then there's lots of kids because it's at a school. And so after being kicked out of a rock band, Dewey Finn, who's played by Jack Black, becomes a substitute teacher of this strict elementary private school, and then decides to sort of turn the whole thing around and create this school rock band to bring the kids together. I think this movie was awesome. I don't even know where I watched it. Maybe I was in college. I don't even know where I was. But I thought this movie was awesome. I thought it was complete. And if you haven't seen it, definitely worth seeing. I thought it was interesting that Mike White, who was the writer of the movie, actually lived in the apartment next to Jack Black. And so apparently the inspiration for the movie had something to do with the fact that apparently Jack Black would like run naked through the apartment, like halls, like the halls of the apartment, blasting music. And so I guess that sort of inspired some of the themes.
Well, Jack is actually a very talented musician who has I don't know if he has like some sort of award-winning, I think it's award-winning, Tenacious D, familiar with his band that him and his buddy formed? Kind of like, it's TD? Acoustic, is that what it's called?
TD.
TD?
I just made that.
No, but yeah, they're it's like metal, acoustic metal.
All right.
It's kind of the genre. So yeah, no, it's good.
It's
Again,
excellent.
It does not make me
really good.
Nostalgic about school. That's kind of what I was going for.
It doesn't for you.
No, it doesn't.
But yeah. So is She's All That coming? If is that a thing?
You might be into my number 3 a little bit. Ready for my number 3?
I know you like her.
This has got to be on your number 3. Well, just because
it's not.
Rachel Lee Cook is mousy.
I know.
I do like her, but this movie that
it's
I have on my
list.
number 3 trumps it. It's the same year, same kind of time frame, 1999.
Never Been Kissed.
No. Think
that was
better.
Good too.
Think Posthumous.
All right.
Think Posthumous. Who you got for me? What do you got?
10 Things I Hate About You.
That's right.
I was going to do it, but I've talked about it several times before.
I know. This one has come up before. Not so many times.
I purposely didn't talk about it because I've talked about it so many times. But you agree.
This is a good movie.
Amazing.
Back to School?
So good.
Yeah. Belongs here somewhere.
It definitely belongs.
Okay.
I should have put it somewhere.
7.2 on IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, 61%. What are you guys thinking? The reason why I know we've talked about this is because we got into the Gil Younger, who hasn't directed like anything since.
No. He peaked
either.
and then he
Yeah.
valleyed.
I
Yeah.
don't understand. Like, so something magical happened here. And
Such a good movie.
Julia Stiles, Heath Ledger. We're talking about 10 Things I Hate About You. Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Larissa Olenek, Mac and Me, or whatever her TV show was.
TJ Maxx.
Yeah, a pretty popular teenager can't go out on a date until her ill-tempered older sister does. Based loosely on Taming of a Shrew by William Shakespeare. Yeah, I think most people have seen this. I won't spend too much time on it, but for me, just really enjoyed the interplay and the overcoming of the relationship kind of situation that Heath Ledger tries to help out Joseph Gordon-Levitt with. Yeah, just great young actors who hadn't quite peaked, who haven't become who they are, but now we can kind of look back and you could kind of see their talent in its adolescence. And it was just really enjoyable to watch this movie. Heath Ledger actually beat out Josh Hartnett and Ashton Kutcher for his role. And I didn't know this, but Heath Ledger and Julia Stiles dated for a bit following this. You did?
I did.
And they broke up.
I was in the lineup. Didn't
you were there. Yeah, you
there.
weren't quite there.
Yeah.
Actually, my old college roommate, this was his school that they filmed it. It was an old chateau-style train station, which kind of gives it that unique vibe. But yeah, just really neat vibe to the movie. Loved it.
I loved it.
Makes me nostalgic about school. So 10 Things I Hate About You was my number 3. Number 2 for you.
Number 2 is something you forgot about but shouldn't have.
You seem so confident. Were you looking at my list?
No, I wasn't. But it was like I went off into this different place.
I'm sure I have it. I'm sure our top 2 line up. I'll say that.
They won't.
They line up?
They don't. So, does yours star Peter Billingsley?
No, it does not. Oh my gosh, really?
What?
Wait, Peter Billingsley? What are you going to go with here?
I'm going to go with the 1983 movie Christmas Story.
Come on.
So let me tell you a little bit about this.
Back to school? Christmas?
Do you remember the tongue scene?
I remember the tongue scene. When does Christmas happen? Let's see. Christmas happens in December.
What does that
Back
have to
to
do with?
school happens in the fall.
What does that have to do with? So it takes place at a school. So directed by Bob Clark, written by Gene Shepard, stars Peter Billingsley, Melinda Dillon, Darren McGavin, who unfortunately passed away in 2006. I didn't realize that. That's sad.
Dad?
That's the dad,
Oh,
the
that's
leg
sad.
lamp guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
leg lamp. That
very
makes you
sad. The mom's still alive. She's 76. So Ralphie, a young boy growing up, dreams of owning a Red Ryder BB gun. He sets out to convince the world that it's the perfect gift, but along the way he runs into opposition from his parents, his teachers, and his peers, a neighborhood bully group. The scene with where the little kid sticks his on the playground, sticks his tongue to the metal pole will haunt me for the rest of my days. That was the reason that I had major fears about sticking my tongue. I mean, I tried it. I tried sticking my tongue to a metal pole, but that movie focuses on his experience with his peers in a school environment, and this movie is pretty awesome.
The listeners will have my back. They will share my admonishment of you and feel that this movie does not belong here and belongs on some sort of Christmas list of some sort. But nice effort. Nice effort.
All right, let's go to
If
Never
I'm
Been
grading
Kids
you,
to number 2 for you.
No. Number 2 for me is solid.
All that.
The next 2 are solid picks.
All right, let's
You
see.
cannot
Let's
dispute
see.
these. This is what you should have had as your number 2 or number 1 perhaps.
It's going to be my number 1.
You think
probably.
so?
Yeah, I do.
It was also based on our poster. For those who've seen
didn't go
our
with that,
amazing
no.
poster, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. How could I not have this at least in my top 2? 1986 is Ferris Bueller's Day Off, hour 43 minutes. IMDb 7.9, Rotten Tomatoes 81%. Directed by the legendary high school movie director-writer John Hughes. So if we don't have a John Hughes movie on our back to school movie list, if you don't, then you should feel like a failure.
Okay.
I'm just throwing that out there. Any John Hughes movies?
Yeah, I do.
16 Candles,
Yeah, I do.
Weird Science,
I don't
anything
know.
going on there?
Maybe.
Nothing. Maybe. Pretty in Pink.
I don't know.
No. Starring Matthew Broderick, Alan Ruck, Mia Sara, Ben Stein, Jennifer Grey, Charlie Sheen, Christy Swanson. High school wise guy determined to have a day off from school. Who didn't want this? You just don't feel like going to school. What do you do? How do you fake it? What do you do? What would you
What
do
did you
with
do, Rob?
What would
What
you
did
do
you
with
do?
your day off of school? I actually really enjoyed going to school.
Did
I
you?
was I did.
You didn't go in college, though.
I did not. I played a lot of music in college
Yeah.
in my spare time. I was trying to get good at guitar.
That
to
was really
impress
good
the,
with
impress
that,
the ladies.
like $35,000 a year tuition that your parents were paying.
Paid off. Decent
Yeah.
job. I have a podcast.
You have a podcast.
I have a podcast. Can't complain.
They're proud. They're definitely
I think
proud.
everybody wanted to be Ferris Bueller who saw this movie or wanted to have a day and
How old
experience
was he at the time
23, I want to say.
in real life?
No, in fake life.
No, wait.
In high school, he was a 23-year-old high school student. No.
He could have been.
No, he
I
was
had
23.
Those. I knew those people.
I think.
Okay.
Sloane, the girl who played Sloane, Mia Sarah, was 18 years old,
Okay.
something like that. So she was the only one who was actually high school age. Yeah, just a great movie. Lots of great scenes. Again, it's wish fulfillment for anybody who's in high school, been in high school, which is all hopefully all of us at some point.
You don't want to rule anybody out.
Sorry, GD folks, leaving you out of the equation there.
Oh my gosh.
But no, it's a great movie, and again, wish fulfillment. All the cool things that you wish you could do if you had the day off of school, and Ferris Bueller does it, and does it with such in such a suave way. Interestingly enough, Jennifer Grey, who plays his sister, he and Matthew Broderick and she actually were engaged for a while. A lot of people don't know this about Matthew Broderick. Is shortly following Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but before Jennifer Grey got Dirty Dancing, they were involved in a fatal car accident where Matthew killed a person and got away with it. Not got away. He was no time served, no issues. Yeah,
no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, overseas somewhere. I forget how it happened. Look it up. It's pretty fascinating. Just someone who has a little bit of star power can, not to say that he deserves to be in jail, but obviously took a life. It's just kind of
I'm gonna look into this
yeah.
after this
It's
podcast.
pretty interesting. A little known fact.
Way to dig up some dirt, Rob.
Yeah, people are going to be after Matthew Broderick now about this. Our listener base will be all over him. John Hughes told Ben Stein, who plays the professor, a very standout performance about the economics professor. Bueller.
That was a terrible.
Or anyone.
Terrible.
Wait, no, he doesn't
No,
say
it's
Bueller.
Bueller.
No, it's anyone. Anyone.
Bueller.
Did you say Bueller?
Bueller.
Oh yeah, because he's taking attendance.
Yeah.
That's right. It's been a while since I've seen this, but Charlie Sheen also makes a little cameo as the drugged out person in the police station. Anyway, a lot of good stuff in here. That's why it makes my number one for you.
And my number one, also directed and written by John Hughes,
Woohoo!
is the 1985 flick Breakfast Club.
Oh, nice. Okay, good.
Thank you, Rob. This is where I'll again take the lead, starring Emilio Estevez, which could have brought a movie down, but it didn't. Judd Nelson, Molly Ringwald, Ali Sheedy, Anthony Michael Hall. 5 high schoolers, all from different walks of life, meet in detention, where they pour their hearts out to each other and discover that they have a lot more in common than they originally thought. And for me, to your point, this movie was in the same vein to me as 16 Candles, Ferris Bueller. They were all very close in terms of what they brought to the table and sort of the genre. But for me, Breakfast Club rose to the top. This movie for me was one where I could watch it over and over and over again. It touched on a lot of things where I liked the character development. I liked the fact that it could pretty much operate in one singular room for the entire movie, and yet you were captivated through the entire movie. So if you haven't seen this movie, you should. It's a classic, as well as if you have seen this movie, you should maybe see it again. I don't know.
I mean, what I like about it
So
is
good.
it again picks apart the different character archetypes, and that's what I really enjoyed about it. The problem for me was with this one, why it was left off my list, is it didn't really have to do with school as much. It was
Because
focused,
they were sitting in a school,
right? It was
Yeah.
no, meaning that it didn't the daily ins and outs of school. It kind of talked a lot about stuff in the
Right.
conversations that they had. And they had some fun adventures and stuff, but
Right, in
it
the
wasn't.
school,
I don't think
yeah.
it was the first day of school, which again lost some points.
I don't
for
think
me.
Ferris Bueller was either.
That's true.
Yeah. So your logic is a bit flawed.
It is.
But
It is.
nevertheless, a movie to be seen if you've missed it. It's a good one.
It
It's
just
classic.
that one doesn't make
I
me
love
feel
that movie.
nostalgic. It doesn't make me feel nostalgic. It feels very apropos, but it doesn't. I
We'll
get.
see.
I know.
We'll see, Rob.
So ready
We'll see.
ready to be unseated here as the episode
We'll see.
queen of Team Carrie.
Bring it out.
Number one for me.
Have I seen it?
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
Oh.
It's also your sister's probably one of her favorite movies.
Dead Poet Society.
It is, in fact, Dead Poet Society.
Okay, tell me about it, and then I'm going to weigh in.
Have you not seen it?
I have.
Okay.
But once. And
Okay.
so long ago that
Okay.
I don't feel like I can confidently...
Holy moly.
I've seen it. I have it on VHS.
No, I know, but I feel like if it's been that long...
So
like
here's
if you
my
don't,
thing. It's on my list of I want to see it again so bad.
It's your top 5 movies we want to see again. Or should see again, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Or glad we saw again.
And I love Robin Williams, as you know.
I feel like now that he's passed, like I feel like this is
Let's
one...
watch it again.
He himself said this was his best role.
I know.
So,
I agree with you on this.
1989's Dead Poets Society. I hope everybody's seen it. 2 hours, 8 minutes. IMDb 8.0. This is the one I'm most proud of on my list. Rotten Tomatoes, 85%. Directed by Peter Weir, who did Mosquito Coast. You've seen Mosquito Coast?
No.
Harrison Ford and River Phoenix, Stranded
Really?
Island situation.
It's like a double whammy.
Yeah,
for
they have
me.
to start like a Swiss Family Robinson.
Hang on, I'm writing that down.
Mosquito
what's-
Coast.
Mosquito Coast.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if he also directed Truman Show and The Way Back, which we saw.
I liked. What's
Truman
The
Show.
Way Back?
The Way
saw
Back
Truman
is
Show.
the guys who have to walk back from like a Siberian prison all the way across.
Okay.
Like 3,000. They walk 3,000
Okay.
miles after World War II.
Tell everyone about.
So anyway, Dead Poets
yeah.
Society, starring Robin Williams, Robin Sean Leonard, and a young Ethan Hawke. Synopsis. I have the wrong synopsis listed here, but basically
Really?
it's basically a new student, Ethan Hawke, first day of school, gets
Yeah.
paired up with a roommate in this boarding school. Gets paired up with Robin Sean Leonard, who's very popular, but he kind of has like some own issues. He's a very overbearing father who has really high expectations, as probably a lot of students who are at these
a
boarding
private school. Yeah.
schools have. And they are inspired and led by a gregarious, very nice teacher, Robin Williams, who inspire them to be more than they are and kind of
And challenges them too,
them,
right?
yeah, intellectually, and also kind of just against norms of this, kind of their snooty society that
Right.
they're in. Yeah, just loved it. Nominated for 4 Oscars, 1 for Best Screenplay. It's heartfelt.
Let's watch it again.
Yeah, I'd love to see it again. Like
I would too. It stands
doesn't
the test of time, I think.
it probably doesn't meet that criteria that I set forth ahead of time about like feeling. It doesn't make me feel nostalgic about my own, but it is just so inspiring.
Yeah.
It is inspiring. I mean, a lot of like I learned about what carpe diem means from this movie.
Right.
I learned a lot about poetry, and I got excited about English and just
Yeah.
the way you know what? It's just really a tour de
Williams.
force of Robin
Yeah.
Williams. And this is him at his best.
Yeah.
And inspiring people, and then thereby inspiring the audience as
Yeah.
well too. So that was
Good pick.
Yeah, that was for me. I also
give you
had
that.
on my list. Just want to throw these out here. Harry Potter and Sorcerer's Stone. Did you consider this?
I've talked about this before. I need to rewatch before I commit to.
It's just that's a first day experience. He's a wizard. First day
No,
of
it
school,
is.
and then
I
he
just-
goes through some like bullying and
It's
stuff
such a
like that.
blur
It's
for
like,
me from the
Mean
whole.
Girls.
I actually
Think
liked
about
that
that?
movie. I did. I
Okay.
liked that movie actually, which is weird.
You know what I thought about? Perks of Being a Wallflower.
I know you did. Yeah.
I thought about it. I thought it was too soon.
Too soon.
I think I gotta let it marinate. I gotta let it marinate.
I thought about Lars and not Lars. What's the Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl? I thought
about that too. That was I
That
think
was
too
good.
soon. I had Clueless on here. Rushmore, Karate Kid. Technically his first day of school.
I was surprised you didn't go Karate Kid. I know you're
Yeah.
really into karate after watching that movie, and
I would have if
Yeah.
it would have been on my list. I'd be doing some moves like I do after every martial arts.
I know,
movie
which is why
watch.
I'm really glad it's not on your list.
Breakfast
Yeah.
Club was on my list.
Thanks.
And then Fast Times at Ridgemont High with Phoebe Cates was on my list. Also good school experience.
I don't know what that
there.
means,
Yeah,
but-
that's okay. You don't need to know. You guys know what I'm talking about.
All right.
And then Real Genius, Joy V. Hill listener threw that out there. One that I would have
Joy's
forgotten.
the reason that I picked Dangerous Minds.
Oh, she's good.
I had I loved that movie, and I had forgotten about it. And I forgot that it inspired me to read the book. I rarely read the book, but I did after that movie.
It's hilarious. I had the audience list here, and then I must have had a save issue. So I will go quickly and do a pivot table. How's that?
Can you do 2 things really quickly? One, do you think, how quickly can you get me another glass of wine, too?
I cannot do that very fast.
No? Do I have to go?
You're gonna have to go, but let me just do this really quick. Let's see what our audience felt was their best movies here.
Okay.
Movie and by name, count it, and then sort it. Sorry, folks. Ferris Bueller's Day Off was the audience's number 1 pick, followed by Harry Potter, and then Dead Poets Society
Who's
is
the
number
winner,
3.
though? That's all I
There's
care
no
about.
winner. There's no winner. Oh, who's the winner? A winner from our audience. So that's
Yeah.
right. For folks who like our page as well as comment, we randomly select one of our folks to receive a free Amazon rental. So let's do random between. Here we go. Between 1 and we had 12 listeners right in. So
all right.
Let's do it. And the winner is lucky number 5, who is Laurel Hose. I'm very happy for Laurel.
I am too.
I think
She's
she
so
wrote
good
it.
at
She
participating.
participates a lot, and I think she wrote in like when we had 3 audience folks write in once. She was like, "This is just my luck. Like I never win anything." And here you are, Laurel. You have just won a free Amazon movie rental. So be looking
Excellent.
for that coming through
like
Amazon shortly.
Here's my glass.
Oh, so you want to go to a break, do you?
I do.
Okay, we're
Here's
going
my
to a break.
glass.
When we get back, our rec segment. See you then.
Living days on end, watching hours turn underneath this weight of emotion.
And welcome back to Alternate, and we're going to be closing out our episode with our rec segment. So, Carrie, you assigned me Cheats, and I assigned you 28 Days Later. Tell me
did.
about 28 Days Later. How'd you feel about it? Was it a gift? Was it something you want to send back to the recipient or sender?
Yeah,
Send back to sender?
I was feeling not great about it, and then you reminded me once we actually were leading into watching it that it was a zombie movie, which enticed my movie watching appetite. So
For brains.
for brains, the thing is, for me, I've watched a lot of zombie movies and shows, and they go 2 ways. I feel like there's no middle ground for me. So 28 Days Later is a powerful virus escapes from a British research facility, and transmitted by one drop of blood, it can create devastating effects and send people out on like a zombious situation. Rage. And so the country's overwhelmed with the effects of that, as well as like this. Obviously, like the scenario is much like you've seen in any other show where there's people who aren't infected, and it's how do they seek to survive, as well as like overcome
See, and
these things.
that's the key thing too in rewatching this. You just pointed out, you said just like every other show that you've seen. So I think why this movie had an impact on me is this is way before Walking Dead.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
And this is before these now
What year
where
was
it's
it
a trope.
actually? I actually don't know.
Oh, come
I'm
on.
sorry.
I don't know either.
I'm sorry.
I want to say 1999. I don't know, 2002.
Yeah. So it was older.
Oh, I remember reading something in the. It was 2001, 2002 for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
I know that
because
too.
it was like a 9/11 situation. They were
Yes.
filming during 9/11.
Yes,
So.
and it stars Cillian Murphy and Naomi Harris, who I like, both of those actors and actresses. Directed by Danny Boyle, written by Alex Garland.
Alex Garland, Ex Machina
Yeah.
writer and director. Sunshine, great writer.
Very
Love
dark,
his writing.
obviously. This movie for me gets a 7.6 in IMDb. I'm really picky when it comes to my zombie apocalypse types movies and shows. So this one for me, so the one thing I'm going to spoil.
You gonna spoil something?
I'm going to spoil something.
Is it Killing Murphy's peen that we see in the opening episode, in the opening scene? I think Danny Boyle has a thing with.
I had forgotten about that.
That's what's memorable to me now. I forgot about it too, and it's like now I'll never forget it. Unfortunately, Killing Murphy. Danny
had
Boyle has a
forgotten.
thing. Same thing with Trainspotting.
He
I
clearly
think there's
has
other
a thing.
movies.
There's
where he
clearly
needs
a
to be
need for some
showcased.
maintenance
Yeah.
there.
Oh, for Killian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some manscaping needs to happen, but also
He made everybody leave the stage or where they were filming.
Cillian
it was
Murphy
just
did?
Yeah. I keep saying Cillian. I think it's Killian.
Killian.
I don't know. But anyway, he made everybody leave the set. And he's like, "We're gonna do
I
this,
would
Danny.
make it-
You and I just." But
So-
why? Like, everybody's gonna see it in
If I
just
was
a moment.
like in all my glory, I would want everybody to leave. Too,
Why?
Because
The world is gonna see it
I
shortly
have
thereafter.
like post two children.
Yeah, but
situations.
But everybody's gonna see it in just a moment. Like as soon as the movie is released. So where's the shame?
I mean, it's different.
Yeah.
There's a difference there.
Yeah. This is like a theme I see with Danny Boyle, who
All right.
also did Slumdog Millionaire.
Oh yeah, which I loved. But anyway,
No peen there, I think.
less peen, yeah. So in this one, Now I lost my train of thought. Now I'm just thinking about Cillian's Bean.
Killian.
Whatever. So, what was I going to say about this movie? Oh, so what I was going to say about this movie is what I like about Walking Dead is slow zombies. This movie, I will spoil, is fast zombies. I do not like zombies running. I like zombies to be slow and methodical, and that, like, unless you're really stupid, you can't get away from the zombie.
That's true. And
I did not like fast
World War Z
zombies.
kind of capitalized on this too with the fast.
I do not like that.
I feel like I have a shot with if I was thrown into this environment with a slow moving zombie.
Totally.
With the fast, I'm done.
The fast. I mean,
there's no chance.
Really, you're done.
Yeah.
Look at my legs. My leg.
You'd be bait as our kids. Abby's
You
been
would
saying,
have tossed me out there as bait. Yeah.
Abby's been recently saying, Alice, you're the bait.
Yeah. I would be bait. I would
Yeah.
be tossed out for zombie snacks, and I don't like that.
They could feast well on your arm. They would
My
have quite. They would be full. They'd be like, no more. I'm
drawn
good.
to my elephantitis arm. It's still itching. It's itching.
Maybe it's a zombie bite.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's only one hole.
That stands out to me. Also, the Gleason scene. Actually, you know where it turned me off is once the family situation. Once that guy left, the dad was gone.
Yeah.
That was it for me.
It was
Like
sad
I kind
for
of
you.
checked out.
Yeah.
Well, no, the rest of the storyline of the third act wasn't as compelling to me.
Yeah, I agree. But anyway,
yeah.
so thanks for that. I like what you tried to do there with
I
the
tried
zombie.
with the zombies tie-in for you.
But next time, just wreck like a season of Walking Dead.
Oh,
to me.
should I wreck a movie like you did for me with Cheats?
That sounds good.
Is that what I should do?
Yeah, how was it?
Yeah. Let me actually go back.
Kellen,
2002.
your friend and family member.
So interestingly enough, Cheats
recommended
came out.
this.
By the way, I had seen it. I know you were going through like a laundry list of movies, and we were trying to figure out if I'd seen them or not. Cheats, 2002, hour 26. IMDb gives it a 6.2. Rotten Tomatoes, not available. Critics didn't even go out to bother to see this. It actually technically did not have a theatrical release, so I don't know if we can call it a movie in 2002 terms. In today's terms, Netflix and Amazon release movies on their own platforms, and they call them movies. But this did not have a theatrical release. But same year as Slackers, and very similar type of a movie where cheating scheme, college students. Slackers did have a theatrical release, only 10% Rotten Tomatoes. But how do I feel about this movie? Like it was okay. Like definitely not worth like paying for, going out of your way for. I don't even know if it came across and you had some like a TV show going on. If you like, there were some funny moments, especially if you're super nostalgic about high school and if you ever cheated in high school, and probably maybe everybody did. There are some funny moments. The main actor, it stars Trevor Furman, Joey Lawrence's brother, Matthew Lawrence, and then a few others. The lead guy is actually pretty compelling, and then like we found out recently that he hasn't done anything since. But it's about a group of friends who cheat their way through high school. Yeah, that's all I can. Like, it just wasn't. It didn't grab me. Even as a former high school cheater, or not high school cheater. A little bit of cheating in high school. Actually, all the way back to my elementary roots. It did not grab me as much as Slackers did. It wasn't enough comedy in there to overcome kind of the poor acting.
Okay.
This is based on a true story. It actually really occurred, and that whole scene where he takes off his shirt and has a tantrum to get him like released.
Yeah.
That
I could see you
actually
doing
did.
that.
I never thought about going to those lengths, but whatever. I didn't particularly like the movie too much.
Okay.
Sorry, Kellen. What do you got for me this week? Should I go first? You go first.
Have you seen the movie The Killing Room?
I have not.
Do you
know
want
anything
to see
about
that
it. I have
movie?
no idea, actually.
So I have
it
two
sounds kind of
movies for
familiar.
you.
All right, give me the other option just in case.
It's The
it
Killing
sounds
Room or Storks, which is the movie that you keep talking about.
Is it out?
No, we have to go to the theater to see
But
it.
is it going to be out
I don't know.
before the
You
next
just
episode?
keep talking about it.
Is it going to be out before the next episode? Because I'll say
Maybe.
yes to
Yeah.
Storks.
Yeah.
Let's go see Storks.
Do you want to see Storks?
Yes, power
Where-
move.
Power Move where the bird flies into the window. It's an animated movie. You want to see that?
Do you want to know why I built a window when birds can't see through glass? Power move.
Yeah.
Kelsey
All
Grammer.
right. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll go back to The Killing
No,
Room.
Storks
Okay,
for sure.
all right.
I have some options for you as well.
Okay. So
They're
Storks.
all Storks for me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have you seen? Oh man, Pulp Fiction.
So I haven't,
Oh sweet.
but I have it on VHS.
Okay, why do you have it on VHS? That's kind of that's more strange
Is
to
that
me.
weird to you?
Like, that would mean that, like, your parents purchased it for you or something.
I think a college roommate purchased it and had it, and somehow I ended up with it. I think I started watching it, and it has some drugs in there, right?
Yeah, it's not my favorite movie, but I feel like it's one of those where everybody needs to see it.
I'm not a huge John Travolta fan.
Okay, all right.
Or
so
a bowl
just
cut
like you
hair
gave
fan.
me some options.
But I have to do it?
No, you gave me some
Okay.
options. You mentioned Jennifer Aniston being the love of your life. How about a little comedy, a little Rumor Has It? Have you seen Rumor Has
I
It?
haven't. Wait, does that have
Kevin Costner.
No.
Okay. It's streaming,
Okay.
which is why I thought it was a popular choice. So Rumor Has It is
Okay,
what
I'll
we'll
watch
do.
that.
We'll save
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction for
Yeah.
more appropriate
When I'm really
time.
feeling dark and,
Yeah.
and sad after another
I feel like
run.
everybody needs to see it.
Okay.
It's not my favorite movie, but I feel like, you got to have it in your belt.
Done. It's
But
in
Rumor
my
Has
belt.
It, light, breezy. I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay.
I want to rewatch it with you because I was like, you know what? Thinking back to it, I was like, this was an okay movie.
All right, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Well, in closing, I want to thank all of our audience and everybody. The music you've been listening to is brought to you by Lo Kung of Fervor. Thanks, Fervor, for all the music you supply us with. Social media, guys. Be sure to check out our Facebook page. Like it. The more likes, the better our audience spread can go. The more the word can go out, we'll go viral. Twitter, we've been trying to post a little bit more on there as well, too, so follow us there. Alternatingpod.com. It's where you can find all of our episodes, and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or Google. Tune in for our next show. Carrie, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Where we'll be talking about our top 5 movies about witches.
Ooh, it's Halloween.
Also because our
Okay,
young
it's
daughter
Halloween,
was
yeah.
creeped out by the little witch item that you put up and you refused to remove.
You have to build up like tolerances to that kind
Yeah,
of
she
stuff.
stares back and makes sure the witch isn't following her every time she walks
You're
by
making
it.
them really weak.
Yeah, so
by
we're gonna
okay.
see what your top 5 witches are. We're gonna
I have
target the
good
release
ones. I have good ones.
for Monday, October 17th. So looking forward to that, just in time for Halloween. Top 5 movies about witches. Thanks again, guys. Bye.
Our intentions were true. In the darkness, I would follow.